Best senseis in anime, each based off of each series. Each series, like it's like I did with the God damn, what did I do with the fire users? Best fire users, best senseis in anime, right here, coming at you right quick. Um, this is from Dragon Ball series. It's Roshi. See, I had a toss up between Roshi or Genkai, but then I was like, who been there the most? It was Roshi. Roshi had been there. He was there when Goku died in Dragon Ball Z. He was there when um, Goku came back and Cell games happened. He was there for that. He taught Goku the Kamehameha, which is an iconic move that every Dragon Ball Z fan and even people who don't know about Dragon Ball Z know about. So I have to give credit where credit's due, and that's Master Roshi. He's the best sensei in Dragon Ball Z. He might not be the strongest, but he gave the basics, and the basics is everything. And I know that as a Gold Rabbit on my other channel. That's why I'm your sensei, but you fuck around too much. Um, One Piece, Silver's Rayleigh, because Silver Rayleigh taught Luffy. Um, he gave him a big power. Like Luffy was basically like powering through on his own, like without any real type of like steering or anything. Nobody was like helping him out, like as far as a mentor or anything goes for like his powers. He just went through his enemies and other things, like got past them, like boom, boom, boom. I'll get by him. But then it came to the war, and he wasn't strong enough to protect his brother. He got down on himself, but then Rayleigh was there. He was like, you can make your hockey bloom. Hockey is this and that, and you actually have Conqueror's hockey, which is a rare hockey that only some have. People have strong willpowers, and he was like, okay, and he learned that. And by the time the 2 year training was done, Luffy was like on another level. He was able to fight the pacifistas like with ease, without breaking a sweat. Whereas before he was like he couldn't even do it without his crew. Yu Hakusho, who's the best sensei there? It's obviously Genkai. She's been there since day one. She was like, okay, twerp, okay, idiot, slacker. We're gonna get your ass moving and other things. She put him through the pace, put Yusuke through his paces. Um, he proved that he had enough spirit power and strength and power to do all kind of shit. Take down Rando, for example. That's how he became her student. And then she trained him again, and then he had to train with her again after they went through Maze Castle and also through Tarufune's compound to go to the Dark Tournament. She was in the Dark Tournament with him because she worried about him. She was like, because she knew Tagoro. That's why she knew how bad he could get. And then she trained him with the spirit orb. She told him, she said, I needed to train you for a little longer before you took this power, but you're gonna try to take my powers in, and it wasn't an easy task for Yusuke, but he did. And then she died, and then he used that as motivation to come back. She came back, and then for Chapter Black, she was there for him too. And then she respected his decision to go to Demon World at the end of the series. She was like, he's stronger than all of us, even me, who like taught him how to do, spirit techniques and spirit gun techniques and other things. Um, he can make his own decisions now, type shit. And that was, Genkai. She does stuff. Pink hair, old lady. She can hold down. She plays video games. um, and then in Bleach, it's Kisuke Urahara. Um, Kisuke taught not Yusuke, but fucking Ichigo how to, you know, power up his Shikai. Make it manifest. Because he was carrying around a big ass sword. That's not your Shikai. Your Shikai has a name. It's a sword that has a name. And every Soul Reaper has a connection with their, Zanpakuto. He was like, "I'll kill you if you don't know how to like use your powers, right?" And he was able to show Urahara that he had his like shit right. Ichigo, that is, but it took some time and other things, and he was there when shit got bad. He was there to seal Aizen during the downfall of Aizen, but Ichigo had to like work the Kido through him and other things to make sure it worked. Ichigo always goes to Kisuke for like advice every time. Mr. Hatton Claus, what about this, this, and this? And he's like, yeah, this, and this. Kisuke is not only smart, but he's also wise. So yeah, that's why I got him as a sensei from Bleach. Um, and then for Naruto, it was a toss up between Kakashi or Jiraiya. See, Kakashi more so, he was, kind of Sasuke's teacher more during part one. Like, I'll say that for sure. He taught him Chidori and other things. Naruto um, learned a little bit from him, but the real teacher was Jiraiya. Jiraiya was there for him to teach him, Rasengan. He taught him, substitution, like not substitution, but summoning jutsu. And then he, told him, you have to like learn how to control the nine tails eventually, because that's your power. He kept him motivated too. Um, he was there for him. Then, Naruto um, found out that his sensei died, and he was like, you know what, I have to, have the powers my sensei had, which was sage mode, because he was a sage. He knew how to like, access nature chakra and use it in battle. Naruto did that because of Jiraiya, and without Jiraiya's tutelage, he wouldn't have pushed himself further and further towards more powerful jutsu, more powerful. And yeah, so Jiraiya's the guy for Naruto. And then in Fairy Tail, they don't really have senseis really as they have masters, guild masters, teach them different magic and other things. It was a toss up between Igneo or Makarov. And I said Makarov because Makarov was there for not too longer, like physically there. Natsu had no idea that Igneo was inside of him the whole time. But Makarov was always there to be like, hey, Natsu, you have to, calm the fuck down. Natsu, you should, go on this mission. Natsu, do this, do that. And when he found Natsu, Natsu was a boy who was like, lost. And he was like, this is a place where people come when they're lost. This guild is like your home now. And he was there for him like that. And yeah. So that's the sensei from Fairy Tail, Makarov, short old man who like uses, light magic, giant magic. He turns himself into a giant and he smashes shit to bits. And fairy law is a move that he likes to use. Um, yeah, that shit's like powerful. Jujutsu Kaisen is Gojo. See, Itadori had other, people to teach him things like Todo and goddamn, what's his name? Nanami. But the thing about them is they don't hold down right for themselves. They basically just gave him some pointers. Gojo, taught him some basics. You can either shoot your cursed energy out wildly, or you can learn a technique. Have a technique that's your own. Itadori's a fist fighter. He's a boxer. Gojo was able to, see that and be like, you need something that is like that. To that capacity, he was there also to show Yuji, what a domain was and what it like truly could do. You know what episode that was, yo. I don't have to expand on that. But yeah, Gojo's the sensei in JJK. Not just for Yuji, but for everybody else too from Tokyo Jujutsu Tech. Ruroni Kenshin. So for Kenshin Himura, who was his greatest teacher? Seijo. He was the Hitemi Tsurugi master. I found him when he was a child. He was, abandoned. Nobody was there for him. People died of starvation and other shit, And he was the last person in his village, and then he was like, you know what, I'll teach you how to like defend yourself and other things. A child shouldn't be out here like this. He taught Kenshin every move from the Hitemi Tsurugi except the last move because Kenshin was a bit, hasty and was like, yo, there's a war going on and I need to use my sword the way I know I can use it to like defend people and other things. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do shit like that? You ain't even done training yet." And he left. But then, years later, he comes back and he's like, "Master, I want to learn." And he was like, "You know what? Shishio's a fucking problem. I'll teach you the Amakake no Ryo no Meki." But one must die, basically. One must, surpass their master, essentially. And through dying is the way to do it. But shit worked out. And other things. And Seijo was still alive, and he learned the Amakake no Himeki. Um, so then I got Inuyasha on here. Inuyasha, who's the teacher for Inuyasha? See, Inuyasha had to learn how to use Tensaiga, right? So who forged Tensaiga? Totosai, swordsmith. He's known through the demon realm as the demon sword crafter. Totosai. Totosai is, I, he knows how to forge weapons from demons, dead bodies and other things. But first, like purifying them and other things, because like you have to like make sure the demon wasn't like this, or else the demon's like energy will take control of you. The way he designed Tensaiga was, it was there to um, keep Inuyasha's demon energy under wraps, because when Inuyasha becomes a full demon, he can't control himself. He does that out of instinct, to survival instinct, to go into that form, the demon form. Without Tensaiga, he'll go crazy and try to like kill anything, um, essentially. But then that happened, and then he also taught Inuyasha, you have to go slay this demon to obtain this ability for Tensaiga. Go slay this demon to obtain this one. Adamant Barrage, Nado's on the Getsuha, um, Backlash Wave, Windscar. He had to like go and fight these other demons to find those abilities. And it was thanks to Totosai. He enlightened him to what he needed to do. So that's there. And then for Magi, Aladdin didn't really need no steering too much. In Magi, I see Aladdin and Alibaba as the main characters. So Sinbad's like the guy, right? Because he knows about Mongoloid manipulation, the connection to the rule and other things. He can pull like that shit into his body without even having jinn vessels on him. He doesn't even need the household vessels on him. He can, because he has that much of a connection to the rule. And he taught Aladdin, well, enlightened him to a little bit of his power, and then also trained up Alibaba so he could use a jinn equip and use Amon's power more readily, like the full extent more of its power. So then I got Hunter x Hunter on here too. Who is that from Hunter x Hunter? I gave it to Biscuit, that little girl, because she did teach Gon and Killua, how to use their nen better. I don't remember which nen that she was teaching them, but she had them dig holes and other things. She played deceptive acts with their looks and other things. They were like, "Oh, this girl's a girl," but she's not no little girl like that. Um, she's a character from there, and she was like a great teacher to them. Teaching them some like basics, I believe. And basics, like I said, they're foundational. With a good, strong foundation, you can do like anything. But without that, it don't matter, man. You gotta have the basics. You gotta run the basics. He calls to that shit. But F.M.A.B, who is the person there? Who's the person from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? That is Izumi. She taught Alphonse and Edward how to use, um, spells and stuff. See, she made the same mistake they did and tried to bring somebody back from the dead. That's where they bonded, and that's where she tried to teach them how to use alchemy in a more better way, without doing shit like that. Bringing people back is just not possible, But to get, um, Ed's body back, or not Ed's body, my bad, Ed's arm back, and Alphonse, whole body back, because he had to, you know, do some things. Um, she was there for them. You know, she was even there during the like final battle with Father, Dorf in the Flask. You know, they were like holding down everybody. Ooh, yeah. Um, and for Fire Force, I got Benimaru Shinmon. See, Obi, you know, he could, you know, tell, you know, Shino, you know, we're going on this mission, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're going on this mission, we're gonna find these people, we're gonna take down these infernos and other things, you know. But he could never like make Shinra's firepower even more powerful. That's why he had to go to, you know, Benimaru Shinmon and learn some things. He went through some rough fucking training at the end of season two, and he was able to like push past his limits. Um, like I'm trying to remember, it was like the death stare or something that he was able to do, an instinct that he had to like push his fire past, you know, where he had it at. Even with an Indolibris, he still wasn't there. Benny Marr was like, you know, not letting go, like not letting up on the training. He was like whooping his ass. Like, we have to keep fighting out here until you can like put me on my ass type shit. Then he was like, you know, he saw him and he was like, he saw him go past his, you know, limits and break through those limits. And he was like, okay, training's over. You know, back at it tomorrow type shit. Um, 7 deadly sins. You know, who's the person there? See, Meliodas doesn't really have a teacher and shit, right? Because he's a guy that already knows some stuff. He's already like powerful and other things. But there's the Holy Knights there, right? There's, you know, what the fuck are their names? Oh wow, I gotta make sure I have him on the list. You know, those Holy Knights, Griamore and um, all of those boys, um, Hauser and Gil Thunder. Those three, you know, they learned things from Meliodas and stuff, right? But they also learned from Hendrickson. Hendrickson was their teacher. You know, he kind of went down a path. You know, that was not cool. But then he like, you know, went back to his roots. See, because he was like a person that worshipped the goddess race, and you know, and for that he was like, you know, I have to like atone and other things and not do shit like that no more, and like actually be a grandmaster like I'm supposed to. And he was, and you know, he got back into his thing. Um, and they were like still heeding calls to him because they were like, you know, that's the Hendrickson we remember. You know, he wasn't trying to be a demon or anything like that. You know, he heeded calls to, you know, what was right. Um, but for Demon Slayer, it's Urokodaki. He wears that yokai mask to keep shit away from him. But even itself, he had to pull out his fucking sword again after retirement. He knows water breathing techniques to hold down for himself, as he used to be the water Hashira. He taught Tanjiro, you know, basic things. You know, he had him go to the mountain and cut that rock. You know, he saw Sabito, one of his other students. Um, Tanjiro saw him, and he saw the girl too. I don't remember what her name was, but you know, he saw them, and he learned, you know, some things there. He learned how to, you know, persevere through the storm and, you know, keep at it. You know, and then he came back down from the mountain, and Kodaki was like, "Cool, you cut the rock. I have food for you and other things, and you know, I am your, you know, Sensei. I hope to see you, you know, pass the selection test, you know, and not die." And then he did, and then he went back, and he was like, "Oh, cool, you know, my student's back and those things. That's great." He also trained with Gyu as well. Gyu was the other guy. You know, I could put him on here too, but I gave it to Orokodaki because he's the one that actually got him on the path, like right for the sword. Um, My Hero Academia. Who's the teacher there? You know, I was gonna say All Might, but when All Might gave his powers away, he could only say so much and other things. Gran Torino taught him, you know, how to like move around a bit better, because little old Gran Torino can move fast. He's like boom, boom, boom. He's hopping around and shit. You know, Deku learned how to like move faster and better. You know, with the abilities of One for All, because of him. You know, because he knew the previous user before, you know, All Might. Gran Torino did, and the previous years before him, he had an ability called float, and he was like, you can learn that move and you can move around a bit better, and like all kind of shit, showed him a little bit of things. You could say like not just him, but you could say other people. But I said Gran Torino for me, um, best teacher there for him, for Deku specifically, because it's about the main character getting there, like skills honed. Um, and then in One Punch Man, it's Bang Silverfang. See, Saitama already has this himself right and other things. He put himself through the ringer. A whole bunch of running, a whole bunch of squats, a whole bunch of push-ups every single day consistently. And that's how he gained his power. That's what he claims and shit, right? This guy's funny. Um, but Bang is like a guy who actually teaches martial arts to a whole dojo. Even one of his students, went, kind of crazy and ballistic and killed somebody in the dojo. So he had like that on him. And he was like, in season 2, he was like, I have to hunt down my own student so he doesn't go down the path of a monster and start killing, humans. This guy is a bit crazy. My student is. He's not who he used to be. The one I trained to like know martial arts, he's trying to use that shit to like hunt monsters, hunt heroes. You know, Bang Silverfang knows. Um, goddamn, Fist of Flowing Rock style. You know, he he's good with it. For sure. And that's where One Punch Man is. Avatar, that's going to Monkey Atsu. With Aang, he had his other teachers, Toph, Katara, and Zuko. They were young though, so like they taught him like the basics of how they knew and other things, and they themselves though were still like working themselves. What I'm saying is they weren't masters in their own rights. They were still working through their own, and like they were just giving him pointers like, here, man, this is how you shoot fire as a firebender. Here, yo, you gotta like be a little tough and hold that rock down. Hey, this is how you move water and other things. And, Aang was even able to surpass them, like certain ones of them, like not Toph, but Katara, he was able to like outdo her like quick. Um, you know, basically, Gyatsu is the one who taught him airbending, and as the airbender and the last airbender, he needed that. Um, he didn't know that that was gonna happen to him, where he would be the last one. But it's more important that he learned all those airbending techniques from Gyatsu, because then Aang could then teach it to like his descendants and other things. And like he knew, because Gyatsu was a teacher, y'all. He didn't just teach Aang; he taught Roku too. So he's an actual guy um, that knows his shit as an airbender. So he was cool. And he was cool because that's wind. And you guys gotta say cool calling on the corner too. Because that's the best senseis in all of anime, for the animes that I listed. There's other animes and other senseis too, and I listed one per. There's of course other senseis in these animes, but I saw the best in each anime, and I wrote them down for you. You'll see it in the comments, and leave comments too if you don't agree. Please, 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 and have a great day. Stay cool, on the corner.